Well, thank you very much, Luke, for blaming this whole thing on me before it's even begun. Well, good evening, everyone. It's an absolute delight to be standing here in this wonderful church building that is fast becoming a signature space right here in the heart of CTiM and Medway. And its restoration has been rightfully talked of as a kind of resurrection of hope and vision for the area. And the fact that there has been a place of worship here for over 200 years reminds us we are all standing on the shoulders of those who have gone before, and we are the beneficiaries and the inheritors of every prayer of faith and prophecy ever uttered in this place. And St. John's was the perfect setting for both my recorded mayoral Christmas and Easter messages with Luke, where we had the opportunity to speak and pray a blessing over the whole of Medway. And I was pleased to see we had nearly 10,000 views of that message going out in the towns. So as was said, I am until the 13th of May, sadly, the Mayor of Medway. My official title is the Worshipful, the Mayor of Medway, Cllr Trevor Clarke, Admiral of the River, and Constable of the Castle. People keep leaving those things out. You see, I'm not allowed to mention that at home because they feel I'm getting above my station, and every time I do, I have to put £1 in the proverbial swear box, so I can go and get away with it tonight. And though I have sat alongside many of you at prayer gatherings over the past decades, as a fellow congregational member, I have the honour tonight to open this short conference as Medway's first citizen. I have a constitutional role. Mayors are the King's representative. But what many do not realise is those wonderful, colourful robes that we wear on ceremonial occasions, and yes, I know the hat is a bit silly, but we have to wear it. They have meaning. The red represents the royal authority, the black, the legal authority, and the fur, which in case you were wondering where that came from, that was originally squirrel. You imagine how many squirrels had to die for one mayoral cloak. Now, that represents the people. So pretty much the whole of local society is represented in those robes and chains of office that I now wear. Now, I'm particularly pleased to welcome Dr. Hugh Osgood tonight. At one of my very first mayoral engagements last June, I found myself, somewhat bewilderingly, at a hotel dinner in Bexley Heath, not knowing what I'd gone to or even really why I was there, where incredibly Hugh was the guest speaker. And I had the joy to sit with him for the evening to listen to his stories, well, not stories, but your testimonies, sorry. And I came away with a feeling we will be doing something together here in Medway in my mayoral year. So thank you very much, Hugh, for agreeing to come and support us tonight. Now, most of my Medway church life has been about encouraging prayer for the towns and being involved in a catalogue of initiatives that mostly happened outside our church buildings. We use the term city vision, but we don't have to be that detailed in what that means. The Lord simply told us to first of all love him, and then to love our neighbour. City vision, it's just that. It's the Jeremiah, it's there, 29:7 command of seeking the welfare of the city where you find yourselves. And the next verse commands us to pray for it to prosper. We love parts of these scriptures. We need to read the whole. Many things stop us praying for the city. There can just simply be a lack of awareness of what constitutes a city, a kind of separation of the spiritual from the secular. One of the amazing privileges of being the mayor is the opportunity to meet so many people from just about every sphere of society. It's been so encouraging to continually meet Christian folk who are involved in volunteering. And I would encourage you, if your church has not yet completed the social action audit that CTiM are running, please do so, because that compiled knowledge will allow so many more people to be signposted to our ministries and support services. Now, my journey into civic community service began when my wife kindly volunteered me to be a part of the PTA at our child's school over 30 years ago. Now, I did it not from any philanthropic motive, but just to support my own children, and because I'd been told to do it. But we're all under authority, aren't we? But it is when you're in that new environment that I realised I had no real engagement or involvement with my child's school and his life there. It was like a window opening. And from that, I got together with other parents to pray every month for the school and help set up a Family Trust Children's King Squad there. And I did that for 10 years and then set up prayer group in my neighbourhood with folk from different churches who happened to live in the same street or the neighbouring street. I did the same thing in my office in London, in the bank. And suddenly prayer became a much bigger part of my life. Some of you may remember we did Medway Celebrate for many years, PrayerNet, Compassion for Kent, School Prayers Network, even a schools pastor trial. And that was really heartbreaking when that did not flourish. But it all stemmed from those first few steps into praying and serving. Now, other reasons why praying for a whole city is hard are more profound. Perhaps in some way we are one of the 12 spies returning from Canaan, and we bought into the report that the giants in the land are just too big for us. And at some levels, that's true. There are 292,000 people living in Medway. There's over 100 schools, 8,000 university students, 14,000 businesses. Our hospital has 180,000 accident and emergency admissions a year and sees 400,000 patients a year. These are hard to get our head around. But this kind of apprehension and fear is nothing new. And the scripture I've come across that I use for this is from 2 Chronicles 20, verse 10. It reads, "But now, here are men from Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, whose territory you would not allow Israel to invade when they came from Egypt. So they turned away from them and did not destroy them. See how they are repaying us by coming to drive us out of the possession you gave us as an inheritance. Our God, will you not judge them?" And this is the key verses next. "For we have no power to face this vast army that is attacking us. We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you." Now, Jehoshaphat, he was the man there, the king. He was facing a real physical army. And I do wonder if Christians in Ukraine found themselves 4 years ago in that same place. But his response was simply to say, "Our eyes are upon you, Lord." And we hope that today and tomorrow we'll speak into whatever place you find yourself in as regards the city, with an encouragement to think afresh about the place where you live, to see again your neighbours, your local school, your local care home, your local shop, your local policeman. How about your bin men? And maybe even your ward councillor. Please, plug for us. And yes, there will be gaps in your knowledge and understanding, but to trust God. And I say that not in a blind, unfounded way. And to set our eyes upon him. Jehoshaphat proceeded based on the history and knowledge he already had of God. And that is something we can all do. Recalling the times when it seemed a bit too bleak, but somehow things either worked out or became bearable. And just as Jehoshaphat did, we can then keep praying. And I am sure that God will always bless our stumbling efforts. I read a wonderful phrase that simply said, "All of us have enough to go on in order to go on." Perhaps we can all apply Jehoshaphat's honest looking up prayer today for our own unique situations and circles, and that will lead us into having that kind of citywide vision that will then lead us to an even greater transformation of this wonderful place that we call home. Now, before I go, can I please put in a plug for the Mayor of Medway Facebook page to like and follow it? I don't earn anything from it, if you're thinking that You will not be monetarising the mayor in any way at all. But it has, and it is, charting the mayoress's and my mayoral journey across Medway. And I've been encouraging folk from the churches to use that as a prayer prompt for city life. If what you read, today I posted a visit to the Medway Aircraft Preservation Society up at Rochester Airport, a group of wonderfully talented engineers who use their skills to bring old heritage aircraft back to life out of love for what they do. And they do it in order to educate and to show. And you may not have that near you, that may not resonate in any with you, but there will be a volunteer group that you know. Use, please, what we post as a prayer prompt. It's a very, very simple way to be praying together for Medway. So, I was told 10 minutes. I don't have a watch, so I hope I'm within my time. And we're going to hear briefly now from James and Edward about In Christian Ministries before Hugh speaks to us. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming tonight. Thank you.